Bus tour companies, this one's for you. I'm speaking at a rival conference in Las Vegas all about autonomous vehicles and how they will disrupt your tour bus operations over the coming years. It's such an important topic. This is probably your most important strategic issue post-pandemic. Please do watch the next few minutes, and I look forward to continuing the debate about this in a few weeks' time. Thank you. Let's get a couple of misconceptions out of the way first. Is this just a new vehicle? Over the last 100 years, we've evolved from using horses to larger vehicles powered by internal combustion engines, to the Paris city rummer of the 1960s, and more recently to open-top double-decker buses. However, the sightseeing product itself has remained pretty much the same. Most of the innovation focus has been on retail and distribution of the product. This is something I personally led over the last 10 years when CEO of Tour CMS, working with bus tour companies like Greyline. But this time it's different. This time the vehicle and the tourism customer experience will be defined by software and AI. This is not just a new vehicle. This is a new medium with new products and new players. Expect to be disrupted. The second misconception is that this is science fiction. No, robotaxis are now available in 20 cities, with more coming this year, including the first in Europe, in Munich, and Cruise launching in Austin. Let's have a look at some next generation robotaxis. This is the Cruise Origin, will be big in the US, made by GM. Available in San Francisco, soon in Phoenix and Austin. Amazon's Zoox, also in the US. Keep an eye on them in Las Vegas and San Francisco when they launch next year. Google's Waymo, what Google will use for their airport transfer service, now testing in Phoenix. Baidu's Apollo RT6, scaling up in China, now in 11 cities. The Nev's Sango will be big in Europe, and Yutong's Chao Yu 2, perhaps the one vehicle from this list that you can buy as a tour operator. Yutong is the world's largest bus and coach manufacturer. So how will the consumer decide between a tour bus and a robotaxi? In the end, this is the only question that matters. A tour bus is pre-booked. A robotaxi you can start immediately on demand. A tour bus is public. A robotaxi is just you and your family. Tour buses deliver mainstream products. Robotaxis can do that, but they can also operate long-tail experiences. More on that in a second. Tour buses are comparatively expensive versus robotaxis. I will come back to price as it is important. You as a consumer have to meet your tour bus. With robotaxis, they come to your hotel. It's much more convenient. Pretty compelling, right? Let's look at long-tail experiences in detail. Today, everything starts with a bus driver. To make that bus driver commercially efficient, we put the bus driver in the biggest bus the local market can take. With a big bus, you have a lot of seats to fill. Historically, this was achieved by providing a popular tour in the same way that Hollywood produces popular films. When we remove the bus driver and use smaller vehicles, the product we can deliver changes completely. For example, we operate a literary themed evening in San Francisco using the robotaxis there. If you like your poets, you will love this night out. And if you don't, you could well hate it. These experiences, as digitally operated, sit in a database just like a song on Spotify sits in their database, all just played back on demand. The transition to digital tour operating is going to be all about the long tail. It's all about creating experiences that people love rather than popular experiences people like. YouTube is a good model. The reason they're successful is they are all about content focused on people's passions. That is where we are all heading. But what about price? Firstly, these vehicles are not as expensive as you might think. For an idea of the hardware cost, in China, Beidou has their vehicle costed internally at $37,000. These prices are low as these vehicles are much simpler in some ways due to the removal of steering wheels and other driving interfaces. Operationally, they're not expensive either. Now, these numbers are a bit provisional, but assume we're looking at $1 a mile, and this is per vehicle rather than per person. Perhaps market forces will make the consumer price go down even more. ARK Invest certainly thinks so. Either way, this is not expensive, and where robotaxis are present in a market, even on price alone, I expect they will become the dominant vehicle used by tourists. The big question remaining is, will they scale? This isn't guaranteed, but it is a fair assumption that they will. Cruise via GM are publicly listed on the stock market, so can't make outrageous predictions like some startups do. Their scale-up ambition is the majority of major US cities by 2027, just 4 years away. Within individual cities, they have big plans as well. For example, in Dubai, they announced they plan to have 4,000 robotaxis there by 2030. By now you're wondering, is there any good news? Yes, robotaxis are boring and uneventful by design. We can bring the fun and the local flavour. Also, robotaxis are optimised for short duration, short distance mobility. We can optimise for longer experiences. The automotive industry is leaving a tourism-shaped gap we can collectively plug if we get on with it. However, this is not an easy transition. To summarise, it's new products, it's digital tour operating, we've got long-tail themes. We've got new competitors, Google, Amazon, and the entire automotive industry. New marketing and distribution. The OTAs and ResTech are not ready for this. New industry structures. The OTAs will likely become digital tour operators. And there are limited options for vehicles. Should you build or should you buy? I'll come back to this. And it's a multi-year transition. You have to start before you know who and what you're competing with in your city. However, this is a transition that you do have to make. If you're a tour bus operator today and want to remain a vehicle operator, you're going to need a new vehicle. Now, you can buy a vehicle. However, you are then going to be buying the same vehicle as the robotaxi companies are operating. This will make it very difficult for you to differentiate your product from your local robotaxi competitors. Pretty much the only option to generate long-term differentiation from the low-cost robotaxis is to design a vehicle that is optimized for operating, sightseeing and hospitality experiences. Now, this is likely a 4 to 5 year project and needs upfront funding. Whatever you do vehicle-wise, you need to complete this work before robotaxis get a foothold in your market, signing up deals with all your local attractions, OTAs, hotels, etc. i.e. you need to complete by 2026 perhaps? You and I can do the maths and this is looking tight. However, we can help. At Altura, we've already completed 4 years development on the technology required to operate experiences using autonomous vehicles. We can embed attractions, tour guides, restaurants into your experiences and operate in your brand to your guests. So far, we've just been testing our technology. We're just getting started, but we're now available in 74 cities worldwide. And I'd love to chat about how we can help and how we can fit into your transition projects. Thank you for your attention to this presentation. I really look forward to continuing the debate about what to do about robotaxis at Arrival in Las Vegas in October. I will see you there.